Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
From Cy Donnelly Field here in South Huntington, the Big Red have made their way from just outside of Trenton, the number 2 ranked team in the country, to take on the Friars of St. Anthony's at number 13. It's another nationally ranked battle here on the island, and it's all here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. This afternoon's game brought to you by Catholic Health. At Catholic Health, you're more than a patient. You're somebody's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island. And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Dylan Butler alongside Kevin Bunk. It is another national battle, right? This is what these two teams do. You look at their schedule, it is littered with not only Division I players, right, but national powerhouses throughout. So this is what you sign up for when you are a St. Anthony's player or a Lawrenceville player. For St. Anthony's, you know, listen, they had 3 losses over the last 2 years, Kevin. They're now have lost 3 straight, including, of course, to their rival, that classic game the other afternoon, 11-10. How do you bounce back now with the number 2 ranked team in the country coming to South Huntington, right? No easy task.
Definitely a tough one, and you're on short rest here. Just played that Chaminade game this week, but you're playing good in these games. These are constructive losses. You're still in April. I don't think you hit the panic button by any means. This is still a really good team, and Coach alluded to it, but we'll talk more about it later. Having Lawrenceville come in here, it's a great opportunity for you, because if you can get the win, those 3 straight losses don't matter. You put everything looking forwards now with that win and reset your season kind of, and everybody feels good about it. So a great opportunity for them today.
Yeah, that was the message in the conversation yesterday at practice. Again, it's only that one day really in between these 2 games, but he said every one of these games where we face a national powerhouse is an individual opportunity. And now if you could beat Lawrenceville, a lot of people maybe forget about the 3 losses prior. But listen, it's as Hyman Roth said to Michael Corleone and Godfather 2, this is the business we've chosen, right? And that's what St. Anthony's has chosen. You want to be a national powerhouse, you go against the big dogs. And when we look at Lawrenceville, listen, 11-2 on the season. They lost their opener at Calvert Hall in double overtime. Since then, only 1 loss. It is a team, you look at their roster, right? They pull from everywhere from Massapequa Park to San Diego, up to Canada. They are an elite high school lacrosse program.
Yeah, it's just one of many teams that are similar that come across the St. Anthony schedule, and Lawrenceville for that matter. A lot of teams built similarly, really dangerous, best players in the entire world making up these teams. But Lawrenceville, it really is impressive what the coaching staff has been able to do and the program, because you do have players coming from Canada, coming from Long Island, coming from California, everywhere in the country, and they come together as a group, and obviously it's working out this year. They're off to a great 11-2 start, and they're looking to add another one today.
Yeah, John Posner, their head coach, 5th season, did an incredible job building a national powerhouse in the middle of nowhere, right? Culver in Indiana, northern Indiana. and now he's come to Lawrenceville, and he's done really the same here. When we talk about impact players, we could have highlighted any number of players for the Big Red, but we will highlight two guys here on the offensive side. It's Sawyer English, the Brown commit. He was really the guy who stirs the drink, right, in their offense. And Brock Getson, what a terrific story he has been for Lawrenceville, a guy who a couple of years ago, low on the depth chart, and now, listen, you see it there, going to Harvard, and he's an elite defender for an elite team.
Yeah, and with Getson, coaches telling you that when he got there, he could hardly play the game at the high level that's required at Lawrenceville, and now just a few years later committed to Harvard. Obviously tells you the growth, the determination, the work ethic of the player, and Sawyer English is going to have to be a player that St. Anthony's today tries to control and limit, as he can make this entire thing go on his own.
Yeah, Posner, certainly familiar with the English family, right? Brothers Sam, who's at Syracuse now, Ty at North Carolina, coached them both when he was at Culver, and then he coached Brooks as well at Johns Hopkins. All of those players, he said, they have that same DNA of speed on speed, right? And that's something to look out for if you are St. Anthony's today. For the Friars, listen, you circle the wagons a little bit. Again, 3 straight losses, 7-4 on the season. But again, these are losses to like high quality teams, right? You look at Spalding, they're right now number 1 in the country. Haverford as well, Chaminade, Lawrenceville. These are, every one of these teams really, really difficult. So for St. Anthony, it's about trying to turn the page, right, and trying to bounce back. And again, there's really tough games ahead. Of course, they're going to circle the May 15th game against Chaminade, looking for revenge there, looking to win another Catholic championship. But today, as Coach Weisrick would say, is as good as any, right, to bounce back.
Yeah, and you look through that schedule, and I was trying to find, when I was looking through, a loss that I could say, this is concerning for St. Anthony's. It does not exist. They are suffering losses that only a few teams in the country could even lose in the way that they have, because they're that good still. So I wouldn't worry about St. Anthony's. They're looking to put another quality performance out today. I think that they will. That's all we see from them. And I don't think the program is by any means down this year. It's just a level of competition that, sometimes game of inches doesn't go your way. They're looking for it to go their way today.
And Weisrick said, every one of those games, except probably for the Spalding game, we were right in it at the very end. When we take a look at today's impact players for St. Anthony's, Jake Johnston, right? What a beast. Still probably the best defensive midfielder for St. Anthony's, but runs on that first midfield line with Gary Merrill and Alex Ruddy, bound for Hopkins. Really, really good. And Brody Rickard, I think he's going to be really vital today for a St. Anthony's team that's banged up defensively. Facing another elite face-off guy, you've got to find ways to manufacture possessions, and Brody Rickard could be a big part of that today.
Yeah, you look at these guys, obviously 2 juniors, both elite college commits. You don't even need to know much more, but Rickard, with the rain today, the weather, you mentioned the face-offs, he could be the most pivotal player in this entire game, the way he can control the game with ground balls, control possessions, and earn possessions on ground balls. So he's going to be a vital part of St. Anthony's trying to get back in the win column.
All right, let's take a look at the starters for both teams here. First for the Big Red of Lawrenceville, again, 11-2. Jake Sturdivant, Colby Rossetti, and Hanson Peck make up your first midfield line. It's an all-Canadian, or attack line. It's an all-Canadian first midfield line with Sawyer English, Adam Ponting, and Ted Rawson. At LSM, Wyatt Stamnus. And then that close D we mentioned before, right? Brock Getson out of that Mad Dog travel program that our buddy Mike Hungerford is part of. Nick Voltis, Luke St. Pierre. And in the cage, hey, they draw from everywhere in the country. They also draw from Massapequa Park. Jet Stake, a sensational sophomore in the cage.
We had a couple of the guys from St. Anthony's. We had one guy up here talking about, oh my God, this kid's from Massapequa Park. Well, yeah, he is, and he's one of the best players in the entire country. Coach speaks highly of him. Everybody who's ever played with him, coached him, speak highly of him, and he's having a dominant season so far. Going to be a tough day today. Once again, the weather conditions, and on the road against the St. Anthony team that's definitely going to be hungry, but he poses a big problem for the Friars in trying to win this game.
And their head coach, there you see him in his 5th season, John Posner. 1993 graduate of the Hill School, played at Scranton as well. Assistant coaches Tucker Mizar, Dylan Hennenberg, Jack Runkle, and Brandon Hunt.
Well, for Posner, pretty decent career record of 355 and 66.
Yeah.
He wins everywhere he goes, and he hopes St. Anthony's is one that he adds to the list today. He's been here. He knows this league, this difficulty, and he's one of the elite coaches in the entire country in high school lacrosse, not only in this region.
Let's take a quick look at the St. Anthony's starting lineup. And this is still, honestly, right now, a little bit TBD. This is what we have penciled in. It's Rooney, Massaro, and Harrigan up front. Merrill Johnson, Ruddy, we mentioned before. At LSM, we believe it will be Bramoff filling in for Parker McDonald, Closty, David McHugh, Michael Kelton, and Chris Inzerillo. And in the cage, a really, really good junior in Dylan Rappaport. Loyola commit, you see his numbers on the year, really, really good. St. Anthony's has rotated between Dennis Brady, Dylan Rappaport. Today, it is Rappaport's turn in the cage. And there you see their head coach, Keith Weiserick, for St. Anthony's 26th season. 349 wins for him, 80 losses. Kevin Adler, Doug Schreiber. Two assistant coaches, Adler, the defensive coordinator, Schreiber, of course, the offensive coordinator. We'll have Lawrenceville, St. Anthony's, keys to the game and opening face-off when we return here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the spring, but spots are limited. Contact us today for lacrosse, baseball, softball, and tennis by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
Dylan Butler, Kevin Bunk here, our entire Varsity Media crew. Certainly different vantage points weather-wise, right, from the other afternoon. It could not have been weather-wise a better afternoon when Chaminade and St. Anthony's took the field. A little bit different here. The rain, which we expect will continue throughout the game, has really picked up since we arrived here in South Huntington.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for all the teams playing today all over the island, but beautiful week of weather. Really felt like the first spring week of the year, and of course it doesn't translate to the spring sports game day on Saturday because why would it? They get terrible rain weather today, but lucky for us up in a beautiful press box at St. Anthony's, and we'll enjoy the game from here.
we certainly will. We feel for Kevin Catalanato and Ron Pierre, who are braving those elements for us to bring you all of their great moving images. We move on ourselves now to the keys to the game, and listen, it's the weather will play a part, and you could see both head coaches obviously identifying possessions and their importance today.
Yeah, you're seeing that with both squads, and I think both teams understand in this weather it's going to be a big day for ground balls. You have to come away and win them. Another thing I like from Lawrenceville is staying poised for 48 minutes. Very important for these teams at this stage in the season and these big matchups too. You don't want to get too high with the 5-goal lead. You don't want to get too low with the 5-goal deficit either.
All right, we head to the face-off X. For Lawrenceville, that's Luca Vecchione, the senior Lafayette commit. You see his numbers on the year. Mikey Riley on the opposite side. We expect to see kind of a two-man punch there for Lawrenceville. It was actually Alex Swinney last year in that win at Lawrenceville, who was really, really difficult against St. Anthony's. So Swinney will come in as well. Both guys bring something a little bit different, of course, for St. Anthony's, and has been the story for so much of the year. Missing Robbie Johnson at that position, one of the elite face-off guys in his class. So St. Anthony's first possession of the game. And it is Ruddy taking on the short stick. And there is one of our impact players, Johnston up top, handing it to Merrill off the pick. Merrill thought about it there for a moment, and then instead he handed off to Johnston.
Good job by Lawrenceville so far. No easy penetration on this first possession for St. Anthony's.
And we wondered, right, who would get that matchup on Merrill? And at least for right now, it's the sophomore Luke St. Pierre. That's Gio Massaro to Johnston. 20 on the shot clock. Johnston harassed. Massaro, the feed. And listen, when it bounces off that turf, it's wet. Could go anywhere. So Lawrenceville will now look to clear.
And a first possession, strong indicator of how Lawrenceville's going to be playing their defense today, playing a little bit of that zone, but keeping some man matchups on the outside. And now we'll see if they can move in transition. Might be a slower day for the offenses, or at least a slower start for the offenses with this weather.
That is Nick Volz, who was just able to get it across. And now we'll take a look at Lawrenceville, and they're settled. And there you see Sawyer English, our impact player for the Big Red. Incredibly speedy, and we love when this happens, Kevin. Two of our impact players going head-to-head. Rickert on English right now.
You can't really find a better matchup than that one-on-one in all of high school lacrosse. Definitely in for a treat today.
Ponting hands off. That's Colby Rossity, number 1 from San Diego, the Hopkins commit. Now it's English up top. Tries to feed the crease, took a deflection, and now an opportunity in transition for the Friars. It is Johnston. Johnston, low to low, just wide.
Nice job by Johnston, though. Good reflex and a good quick grab, reaching with his left for the ball, and goes coast to coast.
Merrill denied by Stake. And I think Stake brought the ball back into the crease off of the save, so the possession will go back to the Friars. But, Kevin, we already see what Jet Stake can bring.
And he's going to get himself going a little bit early. Sometimes getting that first tough save out of the way and being able to get it in your stick just gives you a great feeling for the entire day. And for the Massapequa Park native, he started right.
Yeah, I got to think this is extra special for him, right? You come back to the island, no doubt. You've got family and friends. And getting top side, how about that from Merrill? You beat your individual matchup and a really important early goal for the Friars.
Especially after those 3 straight losses, you're trying to get off on the right foot. First possession didn't get much, and you get another look here at what Gary Merrill's able to do, getting topside, getting right in front of the crease, point blank, and putting one by for the first goal of the day. Really nice job.
For the Carolina commit, another look there. Going top shelf, goal number 29 on the season.
You need those early ones, too, because you never know when Stake's going to be able to get on that run, because he's a 58% save percentage guy, really high number, and he can go on a run of making big saves. So to get every goal counts, whatever you can get by.
Mikey Riley was caught in the spin cycle And they'll count that goal. I wasn't sure if he was in the crease or not. We'll take another look when we get an opportunity. But a huge face-off win, and he was getting bounced around like a pinball. Managed to get the pass off. Look at this, Riley right there, right? GBs we said would be so important. Picking it up. And the Friars take the lead on Calvin Johnston's goal.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable run there. I mean, you called it pinball exactly right. I was thinking even bowling ball, just the ability to go through there. 3 defenders hacking away, and good strong take. And St. Anthony's a huge 2-goal lead to start this game.
And now Paulie Lenigro with a clean win. Low to low, Stake. Terrific save.
Jet Stake's homecoming not easing into it the way he would have wanted coming back to Long Island. He is getting tested here early.
Denied Danny Rooney. So about as ideal a start, Kevin, as you'd want for St. Anthony's. You win a couple of face-offs. You get goals as well, and you've got that early lead, right? Confidence would be so important. And 15, Gavin Johnston with the goal.
Yeah, that's what I would have expected from St. Anthony's today. We mentioned their recent skid, but coming out with high energy, coming out looking to punish early, it's a good stop there, was definitely going to be on their agenda today.
And now Lawrenceville look to get one back. Feed to the crease, and no shot. Good defense by the Friars. A lot of different moving parts for this offense. For Lawrenceville, that shot, nice backup. It's slung back up top. Ted Rawson, number 10, pumps the brakes. Rawson and Sawyer English have played together since they were like 3 years old. They both play box lacrosse up there in Ontario, in Burlington. Bramoff on the transition. Rooney, the one more. Passing it all around. The high shot saved by Stake. Harrigan with the opportunity.
Good job by St. Anthony's. Maybe an extra pass or two there, but still they got a great look from it. And that's what Stake's going to do to you. He's going to take away some of your best looks, some point-blank opportunities that you think are, 85, 90% chances at goals. He's going to crack that percentage down a lot, as both goaltenders can actually do today.
So we go back on the other side now. Ted Rawson hands off. And there is English. Again, draws the short stick matchup. Pop up top for Sertivant. Adam Ponting now. Ponting. Slide comes his way. Flag as well. So Lawrenceville will have a free possession with this flag down.
Still 30 seconds to work with on the shot clock. There's a look for him.
Yeah, low bouncer by Rawson wide. And we'll see what this flag is by our officials. It'll be a 1-minute slash. So Lawrenceville, a team that averages 12 goals a game. They'll get 1 minute here on the man up.
And right now for them, we're still early in this game, obviously, just under 6 to go in the first, but getting one here after going down 2-0 and having some trouble creating opportunities on the offensive end would go a long way for Lawrenceville, because St. Anthony's came out hungry to start this game, and they have been doing everything right so far.
You see 5, Nate Sage, and number 51, Matt Suter, part of this man-up unit. Suter now working from X. Another one of the Canadians on this Lawrenceville team. Up top to Rawson. Good defense by the Friars. The Big Red unable to get a shot off. A little hitch by Sage. Or back to X now. The feed in front on the carpet. and that's where Bramoff is at his best. Just a vacuum ahead to Johnston.
That's the type of things that they're going to have to do today to create those extra possessions and make sure they're securing possessions they should have. Sometimes it's those possessions that don't go your way that you should get that ground ball, and Bramoff is able to actually scoop that up and do a great job of controlling it.
And now the Friars are even. So they do a good job. Man down. And here's Roddy. Takes a step. Another save by Stake. He has been as advertised. Errant pass on this wet turf. It's now a battle for that ball, and it will be St. Anthony's.
That's going to be a tough turnover for Lawrenceville there, and a good job by St. Anthony's, though. Again, recovering, doing a good job. And now, if they can add a third goal to this lead, they feel really comfortable. Still early with the 2-goal lead, though. But if you can get that third, you like the way that you're controlling the game.
That's a great way to clear it, right? Rappaport to Merrill. Numbers now for the Friars. Low to low. Stake. Another save. And he covers up the rebounds. Charlie Cacciabato denied.
And I thought it was a great job by Cacciabato. He didn't even think about it. You don't hesitate. You just go for that. You have the open look. But once again, you're going to have a tough day getting shots by on opportunities that usually are goals. That's not going to be the case for St. Anthony's.
Sawyer English goes east-west to get this clearance. And there's Ponting as coming out of the box is Rawson. Mentioned before, right? Johnston, his ability defensively, so staying on here to aid what is a banged-up back line for the Friars.
Doing a great job so far.
Rawson swings it to X. They'll get it to the other side. That's Ponting. Ponting has the short stick. English. Bouncer, saved by Rappaport.
And right there you see English just trying to create something. A little bit far out, a little bit contested. Good job to skip it towards goal, but nice job by Rappaport to make sure nothing comes of it.
And now an opportunity on the 10-man. And there's the goal by Harrigan. That is textbook how to beat a 10-man ride.
A great job by Harrigan. I think it would have been easy right in the beginning of that, as you see the replay, to just say, I want to put one low here and try and go by, but you wait until you actually have a great look. You don't run any risk. And he finishes strong. Really good job and a huge 3-goal start for St. Anthony's.
And also would have been easy when you see Stake out of the goal to go for that long shot, but there was patience there. In the clear, you go pole to pole, you go sideline to sideline, get it to the middle, and now Lanigro, a big face-off win. He is now 2 for 2, and the Friars in a position where they thought they had a deficiency. They've won 3 out of the last 4 face-offs.
So far, just doing everything right, and the coaches, you just got to be so pleased here how your team has responded. If you're Keith Weiserick, how your team has responded to losing 3 straight. And as we said ad nauseum, it's not 3 straight losses they should be ashamed about. Quite the opposite. And they're doing a nice job today showing that they feel that way also.
Billy Atkinson, part of that second midfield unit. And unable to catch it at X was Rooney. Now an opportunity for Lawrenceville to clear.
And Danny Rooney, obviously a great player. He was in a position to make a nice move to get topside, and I think he just got a little too excited, took that step before actually securing the ball and lost it. Tough one for St. Anthony's.
Suter with the clear, Rawson with the ball now, and that's Aiden Matthews coming out of the box. He's part of a second midfield unit for Lawrenceville, a sophomore. It is hard to be a sophomore to crack the lineup. Matthews has done just that. Brother Liam right now, a sophomore attackman at Penn State out of Orangeville, Ontario. And Rappaport, another save. And you see the ride. How about Michael Kelton, right? Realizing where the pressure was, goes the other way, and this is the exact guy you want to get the ball into in the middle of the field. Gary Merrill. Merrill, saved by Stake.
You're seeing those 10-man rides from Lawrenceville, and they're getting really aggressive in their ride, and that's their way, obviously, of right now trying to create more possessions for themselves because they are now the team on the inferior side, on the short side of the face-offs, gaining those possessions the natural way. So now you have to try and compensate for it, and so far, St. Anthony's is not letting them win that way.
Stake already with 5 saves. And a few of the spectacular variety, right? Look at this, look to the crease. Oh, Stake! An absolute robbery of Ruddy. And now Lawrenceville comes the other way. Rip by Hanson. Peck wide with 5.2 seconds left in the first quarter. Around the cage. Rappaport got a piece of that Rossetti shot. One more feed out front. Hits the turf, but what a first quarter for St. Anthony's. In every aspect, they have answered the bell, and they've got a big 3-goal lead over Lawrenceville after 1. And this, again, right, you want a textbook. Beat the 10-man ride. Well, Dylan Harrigan has the recipe for that. 3-0 Friars after 1 here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is Jalen Brunson. You're watching Varsity Media.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people, all people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Back here at Cy Donnelly Field, Dylan Butler, Kevin Bunk, our entire Varsity Media crew. Really good first quarter. And actually, I should have given St. Anthony's the first face-off as well. They did get possession of that, so they're 4 of 4 from the face-off X. 11 shots to 7. We talked about the ground balls, right? How about 9-3 right now, the lead for the Friars. Another face-off win. That was Mikey Riley.
And I didn't know those numbers before you said them, but it certainly feels that way just based on the eye test watching this game. St. Anthony's has been flawless, really, in that first quarter, and the only thing better than a 3-goal lead is a clean slate while doing it. So they have a nice 3-0 start to this one, and they look to add to it with another possession.
And if not for some sensational saves from Jet Stake, that lead would be larger. To the cage, and stepping in the crease was Merrill. So we will go the other way.
And Stake's going to be a huge story in this game. The amount of saves he will have, the amount of saves he already does. But Dylan Rappaport, terrific job in the first quarter as well. Such a big target. You can see how long he is. Takes up the net, had great positioning that entire first quarter. He looks locked in.
Yeah, it's kind of champagne problems if you're Keith Weiserick and the Friars staff, right? Because you have 2 really good goalies, right? And how do you manage that? So right now, at least, they're alternating starts. Against Chaminade, it was Brady and Rappaport in there now against Lawrenceville.
Seemingly, you know, the goalies, neither of them making it easy, having an off game either. They've both been strong. Today, Rappaport gets the crack, and he's continuing that.
Rossetti hands off. Ponting trying to get maybe an inside roll, and look at that shot. Terrific finish for Jake Sturdivant, the junior bound from Michigan, goal number 30 on the year.
And he shows you right there, just this is a beautiful shot, so perfectly placed right inside the far side. And this is how you're going to have to beat these two goalies, these two defenses this year. And that's an impossible save for a goalie to make, having to come across the body with your stick and try to retrieve that with the amount of heat on it. Big-time goal.
Yeah, Sturdivant from Springfield, Virginia. Versatile, two-handed, sees the field well, and a big response there from the Big Red.
And it's one of those guys, look no further if you want to know the talent level than junior committed to Michigan. That's all you need to know about his ability on the field.
And another face-off win for the Friars. They have done the job. Gavin Johnston there, one of the goal scorers for the Friars, along with Harrigan and Merrill.
We were saying pregame Coach Weisert might have to get a little creative, and he kind of mentioned that himself based on his comment about gaining possessions. But so far today, they've been able to win on the faceoff circle. They don't have to think about putting a long stick there and trying to muck things up on this rainy day either.
Johnston fakes the feed, goes to X to Rooney. Johnston provides the screen. Rooney rounds it. Nothing there. Back to X. Johnston switches hands. Good ball protection. Sent it in front. Nobody there. And that's Sean Curry, the sophomore from Toms River. And Posner needing to call timeout with all kinds of duress for Brock Getson. We mentioned both of these teams playing a national schedule. Well, Kevin, take a look at this. We'll show you. These are teams currently ranked in the top 25 by USA Lacrosse Magazine that Lawrenceville have played, right? Game number 1, you go on the road, you lose in double overtime to number 8 Calvert Hall. Then it's Boys Latin, St. Sebastian, Malvern Prep, Brunswick. Salisbury, number 4 ranked team in the country, they just beat them, and now it's St. Anthony's. And like St. Anthony's, this is, listen, when you recruit across the country, this is what you want to show them, right? Here's who we play. You want to play the best? Come to Lawrenceville.
And these coaches understand how to get players in the mindset to prepare for that, and they're all capable of it skill-wise, but it's just incredible. You look through these teams' schedules, it never gets easy. And for the teams they're playing also, it's not easy because they're great teams as well.
And we take a look at St. Anthony's as well, and similar teams, right? Culver Academy, Posner's former home, Malvern Prep, Seton Hall Prep, Del Barton, that double overtime loss. Spalding now number 1 in the country. Chaminade, they'll move up certainly after their win. Now the number 2 ranked team in the country in Lawrenceville.
Then you see a couple one-goal losses there. Of course, we've been talking today about how well St. Anthony's has played and been in those losses, and it just comes down to a few little things that could have gone either way, a few 50-50 balls that could have gone either way that they're looking to just get that edge now. So far today, they've had it. A lot of time left to play. And these two teams obviously battle-tested at this point in the year, as they always are, to play this matchup and try and win this one.
That was Aiden Matthews to restart. Guarded right now by Gavin Johnston. Rossetti at X. Works off the screen. Set by Ponting. He's got the short stick matchup, tries to get top side, pumps the brakes. Really good defense by Rickard. Quick ball movement. A little hezzy, and the finish. Ponting. Really skilled, high IQ. And Ponting showing some of that Canadian slickness at the crease.
Great job with the hesitation. A lot of maturity in that move. He's a Princeton commit, so you know he has it. And he puts the brakes on for a moment. Good head fake as well. And just pulls back for a second and then comes up and rips. Really good goal.
Yeah, Sturdivant with the pass to Ponting. Ponting's 17th goal of the year.
Then you can see there the size that he possesses, really dangerous with his skill level and the ability to put it all together.
And now an opportunity off the face-off win. And Rossetti looked like a pass. They'll say it was a shot. So the Big Red continue their possession. Big face-off win by Vecchione there.
Probably positioning there that Rossetti would want back, as you mentioned. Kind of looked like a pass, went wide. I think he was in between a bit as to what to do with it, and he ultimately ends up missing.
Rossetti topside. What a save by Rappaport. Rickert the clear.
Rappaport is locked in. His hand to eye right now, whether it's going low, going over the shoulder.
And Merrill loves this matchup right now. He's going to try to exploit it. He's got the short stick. You know the slide is going to come at some point. It's Merrill against Rawson. Pops it up top. He'll get the ball back. Now Merrill, some patience. To Harrigan, gets it right back. And now the slide comes. Harrigan, numbers to the other side. Johnston! What a rip!
That was a beauty. You encapsulated it perfectly there, Dylan, but a great job from outside to bury that one. No hesitation either. He was ready to load up and fire it. And that's a dangerous one to see if you're a defender. Real frightening to see that one because you know there's nothing you can do to stop it.
That was really well worked against that zone. You get Johnston into a shooting position. Jake does the rest. The Hopkins commit, goal number 21 on the season. But now another face-off win. Vecchione, he's got 2 for 2. Low to low. Rappaport the save on Sturdivant.
Are you kidding me? We got him doing splits now. Kick save. Unbelievable work by Rappaport. These two goalies putting on a show early.
Yeah, an absolute clinic. There's Rawson. 2-goal lead for the Friars. Rossetti out of San Diego, California. Also a Hopkins commit. Good off-ball movement right now by the Big Red. Oh, the feed in front, trying to find Rossetti. Goes in the carpet, and again, look at Rickert, right? Slick, spins, punt return clear. And Johnston thought about it for a moment, maybe some numbers in transition, but will settle things down right now for the Friars.
Awesome job clearing that from Rickert, though. We saw in the pregame 30 ground balls about coming into this game, and he's just adding to that total early.
Second midfield unit, you see Sean Ronayne, Billy Atkinson, part of it, as well as Anthony Mancaruso. And 9 is Mancaruso. And just as we mentioned him, right, buries it from distance.
There's a real level of confidence right now that St. Anthony's is playing with. You see it on these last 2 goals. But to be able to just bury early in a game, add to your lead from way outside, they're showing off some swagger, showing off some confidence coming into this game.
Well, also, you're getting goals from guys that you don't normally get them from as well, right? Gavin Johnston and Anthony Mancaruso. To beat a team like Lawrenceville, you need it from your entire team. And now Lawrenceville heating up a little bit at the face-off X. That's 3 consecutive wins for them. But 3 is also their deficit at the moment. And here's Sawyer English.
And now a 5-2 game. Lawrenceville, they've kind of upped the energy on the offensive end. You see it, of course, with the 2 goals in this quarter, but trying to do a little more. They understand they have to do a little bit more than they did earlier in this game.
That's Sturdivant behind the cage. The feed in front. Wow, Rappaport robbed English up high.
He's putting on an absolute clinic so far, and a tough turnover there.
Rossetti, numbers, Lawrenceville, and they will not miss that one. Hansen Peck with the finish.
Both coaches emphasizing getting those extra possessions, and right there, Lawrenceville gets one, and it turns into a 3-on-1 rush. Eventually just ends up pecking the goalie, and for Rappaport, no chance on that.
Hansen Peck from upstate New York, Syracuse commit, goal number 19. Wing play involved, big GB picked up by Harrigan. That's what we said, right, in the open. You got to manufacture ways. Now, St. Anthony's has been really good at the faceoff acts, but Lawrenceville is starting to heat up there, right? So when there's a loose ball and there's a ball on the ground, you've got to get that GB.
And you see the way the Wings played on Lawrenceville. They're coming in, good physical approach to the faceoff, and for a moment, it looked like they were going to come away with that and going to create a situation for themselves to get it, but coming in and scooping that up. Great job.
Another one for Harrigan off the feed from X. Second for Harrigan. What a feed as well. I think that was Rooney, right? At X, it was.
For Harrigan, starting that possession with the ground ball, doing a great job off the faceoff, and following through until finishing your goal. Really nice job from St. Anthony's. They're firing on all cylinders, playing this game exactly how you would have wanted to approach it coming in. And usually game plans don't go perfect. So far today for St. Anthony's, they're getting a great run out of their game plan.
Yeah, Harrigan's second goal of the game. You've got 5 different goal scorers among those 6 goals. This one is still loose. Rooney scoops it ahead. And now it's a possession for the Friars again.
Great pursuit by Rooney and the rest of his team there, not giving up on that.
And a timeout by the Friars. 3:44 left in this first half, and St. Anthony's with the 3-goal lead. Kevin, we'll take a look at some of our upcoming games, right? We hit the baseball diamond a little bit. Division, Bethpage, Comsawag, and EI. That's always a fun one in Suffolk County. North Shore, Bethpage. We're back here under the lights as Jeff Braymeyer and the Blue Wave of Darien make their way from Connecticut. Another rivalry game, right? Farmingdale, Massapequa, Del Barton, and Chaminade. That's a battle of national powerhouses as well. And then it's the granddaddy of them all, right? The Wood Stick Classic. Manhasset, Garden City. We got double dip that afternoon, right? We have the girls game first at 2, and then the boys at 5. All these games right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
It's really the best time of the year, Dylan, when you can get this kind of slate of games. Those 7 games are elite high school sports, really elite sports at any level, and you can dip into a little bit of everything. You got baseball, you got the boys lacrosse, you got the girls lacrosse, and I always try to say it, obviously we all know it, the girls and boys lacrosse here, you're literally getting the best players, the best teams in the country matching up against each other. Great rivalries, as we saw on Thursday. We got another great game here today at St. Anthony's. But when these teams get together, there's few sporting events in the world at the competition level of these local lacrosse games.
Well, you keep it here and you look at St. Anthony's on the girls' side, right? That number 1 in the country, went undefeated a year ago. Just an incredibly talented team. And that's a team as well, right, that has so many future Division I players. As it is Friars' possession off the timeout. Man, Harrigan is having a day. Hat trick in the first half.
That was a nice one, adding a little air under it, too. The jump shot from Harrigan. Good feed, and, again, great confidence in your shot, as all of these kids have. Really nice job going up top, too.
And he and Rooney having some great synergy, right? That's back-to-back goals by Harrigan, both assisted by Danny Rooney.
2 Maryland commits there, so.
Yeah, they'll keep that synergy going, right? Down the College Park.
Definitely translates. Big Ten teams in trouble when those two get on the scene.
And Rickert, the ground ball. That goal happened so fast, didn't give a chance to shout out Molly Heine, right now the USA Lacrosse Magazine Northeast Player of the Week. As the Friars, they had a big-time matchup last week against Darien. Big win for St. Anthony's in that one.
Yeah, just great lacrosse oozing out of the walls of this building and this entire complex. A lot of great players have stepped on this turf.
I'm glad it's good lacrosse that's oozing. I'm not sure what else you'd want.
No, nothing else.
You'd
want
nervous
nothing
if
else.
something else was.
Then you'd have to probably close the school.
There's Johnston. The feed up top to Merrill. Merrill. He'll bring that contact. Hot hand right now, and Harrigan. All St. Anthony's early on here. Merrill slide comes his way. That means there's an open man. Little extra step there by Cacciabato. The ball took a deflection. It'll stay with St. Anthony's.
Yeah, it looked like somebody got it there on the way and redirected it wide. 7-3 game now. I don't think St. Anthony's could have asked for a better first half to this point.
And we're up here. It's hard to tell what. Okay, timeout might have been called, or an official's timeout. Something with Merrill. He's getting looked at. So it is something that we'll continue to monitor as we go along. And as we have this opportunity, Kevin will show you some of the commits for St. Anthony's. And listen, this is 3 different slates we're going to show you right now, right? So it's not just this one, but again, this is what you get when you come to play at St. Anthony's.
This is what you're asking for, not only to become one of these guys, but to play with them, maybe more importantly under legendary leadership on the coaching staff. And this is why these matchups are so great, because you're seeing players that you will see competing for national titles at the college level 1, 2, 3 years from now on every team.
There you see Rappaport, number 20, right, going to Loyola, and there's that third slate that we'll show you finished up numerically by Harrigan, going to Maryland. So off the timeout, it's Rooney. And now Ruddy, 5 on the shot clock. Ruddy tries to split the double team, still gets it off, and actually doesn't get it off. It got stuck in his stick, so shot clock violation for the Friars.
All that work to get it stuck in your stick. It was a nice move, though, to split the defenders, and he almost had the shot. Great effort, though. And you look at those college commits again, but you lose a player like Robbie Johnson for a bit here, and he's a Penn State commit. You don't even really, not that you don't get hurt by it, but you're able to supplement with more Division I players. That's what makes these programs so special.
Well, I mean, the fact that they're even 7-4 without one of the best face-off guys in the country is a testament, certainly, to what they do team-wise. And now bringing a little bit of heat. That shot blocked in front. That was Ted Rawson. Big hit. An illegal one at that by Rossetti in front. Now we'll see.
Maybe on Lawrenceville.
It is absolutely.
Definitely,
it's on Rossetti, but the question is the length of this.
Oh, yeah.
So came in high on Kelton. This will be a cross check. And it'll be a 1-minute man up for the Friars. So Rossetti goes up high. An opportunity now for St. Anthony's to add on to their lead in the final 68 seconds of the first half.
And
Posner with the conversation. I'm not sure what the argument would be there. That was certainly a penalty.
And I think if you're St. Anthony's here, you got the 60-second shot, or the 80 seconds on the clock here, and then you have the 68 to go in the half. So I'd imagine they use most of that shot clock before really trying to get into something aggressively. And bare minimum, you're looking to go in at 7-3 now because of that penalty.
Harrigan up top.
It's your first little slip on the turf there.
Yeah, that was Sean Ronayne. Harrigan goes low, just wide.
He's feeling it today, though.
3-1 in this first half for Harrigan. Rooney inside the final minute. Up top to Johnston. Here's Merrill. Merrill! Man up, goal!
You could see it when he first stepped up there that he wanted it. Good aggressive run right there for Merrill. And right when he starts turning towards goal, you could tell nothing was stopping him. Totally locked in for that one.
And right there, he's like, this is my goal.
Saw he had a bit of an edge to be able to round that and get a good look. And he knew he had to finish. Good job on the man up.
Merrill's second, 8-3 lead for the Friars. Mikey Riley, a face-off win, and maybe now you can even get something in these final 20 seconds. Here's Merrill with 9. Merrill tries to get top side, spins. Merrill, the feed on the turf to Johnston. Took a bounce. No final shot there for the Friars, but what a first half for St. Anthony's. And what a first half it was, Kevin, for Dylan Harrigan, Jr., bound for Maryland, getting it done.
For Harrigan and everybody, they're getting it from a little from everywhere, but he's leading the way for them offensively. A beauty right there.
Top shelf, 3 goals in the first half, 3 of 8 for the Friars, who lead this one 8-3 at the break. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. Hey parents, Varsity Media is now offering ISO video of just your athlete. Why settle for the wide angle that shows every player on the field? With our ISO video, your athlete is front and center the entire game. This footage will help in creating highlight videos for college coaches to better pinpoint your athlete's play on the field. Watching our video will help your athlete improve progressively throughout the season and may lead to a college scholarship. Varsity Media is now booking ISO videos for the spring, but spots are limited. Contact us today for lacrosse, baseball, softball, and tennis by calling 516-403-2050 or emailing ben@varsitymedia.net. It's time to book a Varsity Media Sportscast and get on the big stage. A Varsity Media Sportscast is seen by thousands of people, both live and on demand, from friends and family all over the world to prospective college coaches. Our announcers will help tell the story of your team and your athletes. There is no bigger stage to be on than Varsity Media. Book a sportscast today by contacting Varsity Media.
For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media. Varsity Media is now opening up our schedule to any team looking to be on a sportscast. Watching yourself on camera is okay, but hearing your name on a Varsity Media sportscast is like you're a pro.
And look at this opportunity. Feldman behind. Jersey pulled. Feldman! Feldman!
The loose ball, Keyshawn White has it. He's just going to let it fly. Oh! Keyshawn White from half court. That is cash. What a way to end the third quarter.
Look at this. Merrill. No slide. No problem. Gary Merrill goes top corner.
Varsity Media offers sports coverage for any sport, and our coverage airs live and on demand so everyone can watch the game. Now is the time to be a star on Varsity Media. Contact us to book a sportscast today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
This is Jalen Brunson. You're watching Varsity Media.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
When it comes to live streaming, Varsity Media does it all. Athletic events, concerts, musicals, graduations, even weddings. Trust Varsity Media when it comes to your live stream events. Contact us today to learn more about Varsity Media's live streaming services at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
He's got room to go. Merrill towards the end zone. Lost his lid. Touchdown!
JJ Damo, face on, stay on athlete. Controlling the face-off. That's 3 in a row now.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
Back here at Cy Donnelly Field, Dylan Butler, Kevin Bunk, our entire Varsity Media crew. What a terrific first half for Dylan Harrigan and the Friars. How about a hat trick in the first half for the junior bound for Maryland and an 8-3 lead at the break. Let's take a look, Kevin, at some of the first half stats in this one. And they, as you would expect from that scoreline, skewing for the boys from South Huntington.
And you're kind of surprised at this point based on what we expected in pregame of that faceoff number. 10 of 13 won by St. Anthony's, and they've shown up to the faceoff X, and that's something Lawrenceville has to do a lot better. You cannot be 3 of 13 in these games, and St. Anthony's, it's been kind of a real blessing for them because they, I think, practiced not anticipating to do poorly on the faceoff, but in case they struggled, to make sure they're earning possessions other ways. So now not only are they earning the possessions in other ways, but they're also winning those faceoffs. So they've had the ball almost the entire game.
And you see the ground balls too, right? We mentioned that, so critical, doubling up. St. Anthony's doubling up Lawrenceville in that. Both teams 8 of 9 in the clear. But yeah, it is at this position right here. Mikey Riley, Paulie Lenigro doing a fantastic job to help get those additional possessions for the Friars. And we mentioned, right, Harrigan's got the hot hand, but Merrill's got a couple. Jake Johnston, Gavin Johnston, Anthony Mancaruso, all finding the back of the net as well.
And perhaps their best player has been Dylan Rappaport in net. 8 saves in that first half, and 6 of them probably were massive saves, as if I could remember correctly. And he's done a great job of controlling this game for his team and making sure the offenses work. Didn't result in a close game at half, but instead a 5-goal lead.
And Jet Stake, who was so hot in that first quarter, did not make a second quarter save. So he's got 7 in the game.
And even without the second quarter save, you can argue he's really kept Lawrenceville in this game to the extent that they are.
So let's see what halftime adjustments the Big Red have made. Good knockdown in front. That means another ground ball. It is a rugby scrum for it. And Bramoff, whenever he's in the vicinity, Reichert hammered at midfield. Bodie, loose ball now. Still alive. Rooney emerges with it. And now some numbers. We saw Gio Massaro there go into the cage, but too many Big Red defenders to locate him. And now after all of that, right, all of that craziness, St. Anthony's still emerges with possession.
Yeah, St. Anthony's has a handful of guys right now who have vacuums for sticks when it comes to these ground balls. They are getting everything up, collecting it quickly and through physicality, because Lawrenceville has not made it easy to collect a lot of these ground balls.
Well, especially Bramoff, one of the best in the country at doing just that, picking it up and quickly turning it into a transition opportunity. Here's Johnston. Rooney at X, a couple of assists for him. Up top to Merrill, off the screen. The look, that one hit the carpet. Friars trying to win it back, but how about Ben Akupski, the junior from Princeton, still with the ball. What an effort from Akupski.
That was impressive. There's a couple different times in that run right there where if I was holding the ball, I would have went down, ball goes flying out, and Akupski showing what I can't do and what he can do. Great job.
Yeah, brothers John and Luke both at Fairfield right now. Rawson hands off. When you talk scoring for Lawrenceville, 3 different goal scorers, Sturdivant, Peck, and Ponting. There's Rossetti.
St. Anthony's has really done a great job today, not allowing a single guy to get going for Lawrenceville. Nobody has been able to really take over this offensive end for them.
Rawson, another save by Rappaport. They reset the shot clock. Rossetti up top to Sturdivant. And you can see his versatility, right? He's an attackman. Could play in the midfield as well. Gets the ball back. And Lawrenceville try to figure out how to find the back of the net. And they do there. Sneaking one past Rappaport. That was Sturdivant.
And for Lawrenceville, it's going to be about chipping away now. Really nice goal here. A good second chance after the first shot was saved earlier. Good job going low there. And finally beating Rappaport, who now has 9 saves on, I believe, 13 shots in this game. Really difficult. It's been hard just to get past the defense even for a look, but when they do, Rappaport's usually swallowing them up. Great job by Lawrenceville to get one now. It's about winning in the face-off X and trying to win on the defensive end.
Sturdivant, his second of the game, and what a head-Z play that was by Paulie Lenigro.
That's as good as you could do on a face-off right there by Lenigro, and a great job poking it away to a wing.
He got his hockey stick out there and just made sure that St. Anthony's would get this possession.
Love it.
So now you see that second midfield line there, Sean Ronayne. Ronayne now sets the pick. Rooney goes up high, went off the top of Stake's stick.
And right now for this St. Anthony's offensive group, obviously you're trying to score at every junction that you have possession, but to now pick up your goalie and increase that lead back to 5 and halt some of the momentum that Lawrenceville may have built with that goal is very important on this possession.
Rain picking up again. Some numbers. And reading it so well with Stake to deny Massaro up top. Transition opportunity for the Big Red.
And that's a big momentum builder for them. 1 goal to cut the deficit to 4 wasn't going to do much for them, but then getting the huge save on the other side by Stake, who didn't have one all second quarter. They could really build on something here if they could finish.
And there's Sawyer English. Drawing Johnston on the other side. Slide comes. High to high, that shot off the mark by Rawson. There's Rossetti on the backup. Lefty, top side shot, and the finish. Sturdivant is getting hot for the Big Red.
Both of those goals now in this third quarter have been on second chances for Lawrenceville. Great finish right there, going up top. But you saw the first goal that they scored was off of a save. They got possession back, reset the clock, then went to work, and now they miss a shot wide. Goes out, of course, Lawrenceville retains possession, and then they put one home there. So 2 second chance goals, and all of a sudden, a 5-goal game is just a 3-goal game with a lot of time left, 6:39 to go in this third quarter.
32nd goal of the season for Sturdivant. This is now back-to-back, or 2 face-off wins, I should say, in this third quarter for Lawrenceville. Bischel out of Darien. You got a feel for Jeff Braymeyer, the Darien head coach. He's like, it's hard for me to find a face-off guy. Meanwhile, one just kind of escapes you there and goes to Lawrenceville.
Yeah, they struggled on face-offs earlier in the season, Darien. They would love to have them.
They've struggled for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Here is English. Ooh, loses it. And there's the takeaway. Rickert. And a quick transition, Rooney. It started with Brody Rickert on the takeaway. And that's what you want to do. Get out and transition. And a cool finish by Rooney up high.
St. Anthony's really needed that too, and it's just a great job by some of your best players and a good finish by Rooney. But they needed that because I was even thinking, a goal or a good possession there from Lawrenceville could force a timeout for St. Anthony's here. It was slipping away from them for a moment, but they show some maturity. They show an ability, and that's what this schedule does to these teams, completely battle test them for these moments. And now with under 6 minutes, they're back to a 4-goal lead.
And clearly Rooney's been working out. Did you see that on the celebration? Knocks over Harrigan on the chest bump. And Lawrenceville was able to sneak out a timeout. At least we think so.
St. Anthony's faithful doesn't agree with it. Well,
the officials are going to have a conversation here.
It was pretty close for a timeout there. Ball was on the ground, I think, when the whistle hit, but it could have been a half second off. Yep.
Oh, it'll be St. Anthony's ball.
I think the right call from the officials there. Posner was calling it when they had possession, but it wasn't acknowledged until that ball hit the ground and came loose.
Now the 10-man ride here again for the Big Red. Here is Rooney, fresh off scoring the goal. Gets it to Merrill.
That 10-man ride hurt them more than it helped them in the first half, but they're going to have some success on it if they want to get back into this game now at 9-5, trailing in the middle of this third quarter.
Merrill absorbs the cross check. That's Nick Voltis. Trying to get downhill now is Ruddy. I think there's been great patience offensively by St. Anthony's, great sharing of the ball. There's Johnston. And Brock gets in, took a poke, and comes away with it. Matty Suter. That one on the bounce. Not an easy pickup right for Sturdivant.
No, really impressive there.
Sturdivant being whacked away. That was Dave McHugh.
Yeah, McHugh not giving an inch.
And here comes Rawson. Rawson, really good defense. How about Patrick Heron there just affecting that shot?
Yeah, Heron's been a real thorn in the side of the Lawrenceville attackers in this game, and the midfielders, because he's just not giving them any angle to shoot when they have the ball, doing a great job, the job that a long ball should be doing. He's been maybe an unsung hero of this St. Anthony's lead so far, this 9-5 outburst for them.
Hanson Peck nowhere to go. They don't think you want to try to attack 11 for St. Anthony's. Bramoff is a beast. Sturdivant, low shot off the mark.
15 on the shot clock now.
Yeah, so Rossetti will have to go quick. Head on a swivel there for Ponting. What a feed, and the finish as well. What a look by Ponting, finding Peck for his second.
Now they're starting to get some of these guys hot. Peck with another goal. Nice job with 15 on the shot clock. We see a lot of teams panic, but you see a really calm, collected, and precise effort to make sure they got a good look off in those 15 seconds. Great job by Big Red.
Yeah, what a look by Ponting. second assist of the game, third of the season. And then Peck buries his second and his 20th of the year. 3-goal game.
And this may be where the rest of the game is decided. At the face-off X, there's a big win for Lawrenceville.
And here they come. The Big Red looking for numbers. Suter put it on the carpet. And now is when Lawrenceville will call that timeout. Paz like, we definitely have the ball right now. Or did they not?
Are they saying out of bounds at the time of it?
Well, no, I think it's going to be a timeout.
Because obviously he wants to make sure they have possession.
Although the officials will discuss this one again.
And if you can hear it, the St. Anthony's faithful is trying to argue the ball was out of bounds, and I think that's the question here.
So Posner got he was waiting. It's a good thing he's got a lot of really capable assistants there, because he was waiting for confirmation of the timeout. Did receive that. And a quick timeout at that as well. Posner really not too many words to his guys, right? Just trying to get the energy up among his crew.
And you mentioned it. You see the assistants kind of take over that timeout as he deals with the officials and what their ruling is going to be.
That's why you have those guys, right? Dylan Hennenberg, his offensive coordinator. Of course, his brother Jules was such a terrific standout at Rutgers. Tucker Meeser, his defensive coordinator. Jack Runkle works with the goalies. Brandon Hunn, fresh out of graduating from Rutgers, works with the face-off guys.
And when you're a program builder to the likes of Posner, as you mentioned earlier, what he did at Culver Academy, and you have the 355 and 66 record, you need the assistants and the staff to lean on to have that success. Nobody does that alone. And you see it on the St. Anthony side as well with great assistants.
And in our conversation with Posner, too, had tremendous respect for Keith Weiserick, the St. Anthony's coach, that it's an honor to play these games. What a stick check from behind by Brody Rickert. They'll call a hold against Lawrenceville. St. Anthony's ball. And Kevin, again, we mentioned how important we thought Rickert would be today, and he has lived up to that. And here again, the 10-man stake way out of his goal. This one bounced to midfield. Now it's a scrum right near the face-off X. Cacciabato going for it. Still alive, finally pulled down by Ponting. So this time the 10-man ride did work. Step down shot by Sturdivant is wide.
Maybe a little wide right there, but definitely 5-6 inches above the bar as well. But put a lot on it. And now again, another opportunity as they keep possession for Lawrenceville to try and cut into this. This is a big turning point in the game if they can get that goal. Real pivotal moment, because 3-goal game and a 2-goal game at this stage feel a lot different right now if you're Lawrenceville and if you're St. Anthony's.
Inside roll, no, says McHugh. Good slide. Up top, Sturdivant to his left. Sturdivant, what a save by Rappaport. Rebound, another one! Peck denied by Rappaport.
Coming up big time and time again for the Friars, and he really has felt like the most important player on this St. Anthony's team. Not only the saves he's making, but starting some big clears. He's done everything they can ask of him. And you mentioned how this dynamic has been with the goaltenders, and not an easy thing for a kid to come in every other game or so and perform this way, but they've done it all year, and he's doing it today.
Rawson, the skip pass, and there's a finish. Far post by Ponting.
Something Lawrenceville's been able to do today. I mentioned second chances, but the ability to just relentlessly get after Rappaport, try and put pressure on the St. Anthony's defense. And we've seen a few times now, that one the best example. Eventually they're going to come through, and another really nice finish there going far side.
Ponting, the junior from Welland, Ontario, 2-2 on the game. And this is as close as Lawrenceville has been in a while.
Since their first goal, they went down 3-0 early, made it 3-1, and then finally back to a 2-goal deficit now. Really lends itself to the pregame key of not getting too emotional, not getting too high or too low that we were given by Coach Posner.
Rooney comes away with the GB. Brody Rickard. Rickard! He's a guy known for his defense, but he brings it on the other side.
I'd say we picked a pretty good impact player for today's game, because these teams, you could really go to a variety of different guys. You identified Rickard as a guy before this one, and he's lived up to it.
The junior, 1,000 bounds, goal number 2 on the year, and what a big goal it was to make it 10-7.
And Coach said they need him too much defensively. They don't like to use him on offense. Well, he decided he's going to take it into his own hands, get an offensive look there. And I'm sure his coach will be happy that he was used on offense in that situation.
Inside the final minute of quarter number 3. Sawyer English against Rickard. Getting top side, really good defense by St. Anthony's. There is English. He's been quiet to this point, not on the score sheet. That one, I think it went off the bar by Rossetti.
A lot of credit to Rickard on the defensive end as well, containing English. He hasn't had any good looks really today when Rickard's in the vicinity, which is majority of this game.
Inside the final 20 seconds. English feeds to X. Rawson, and here comes Sturdivant. Lowers his shoulder, slide comes, yard sale at the end of the third quarter. McHugh leads the defensive stand, and St. Anthony's with a 3-goal lead on the number 2 ranked team in the country. Let's talk about number 2. Rickard. He's like, I'm a 2-way midi. You can't typecast me as a D midi. 10-7 Friars after 3 here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people. All people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Back on a rainy Saturday, and look, Kev, this is a newly built complex here to our left. That is those are the best seats in the house, right? You are under cover. You're just chilling. Unfortunately for them, the snack stand not open yet. But listen, the picnic area is the place to be. That is prime seating on a rainy Saturday afternoon in South Huntington.
You know, I haven't been here since it's been redone, and that was one of the things that caught my eye, is that beautiful snack stand. And people have taken a liking to it today. It's full under there.
Well, and you also, you made the walk along Reichert Way and all the banners and the championships. It's such a great site here, and an addition to terrific athletic facility here at St. Anthony's.
And it's fitting for the product and the work that the kids put on these fields. And no half measures are taken from the grounds to the athletes and the coaches. It's everybody's all in here.
So final 12 minutes of regulation here in Lawrenceville. They have trailed from the opening face-off, trying to get themselves back in this game. Sturdivant, 3-1 for him. Ponting has the short step magic. Ponting, saved by Rappaport. His 13th of the game. We come the other way. Look out from behind. As Matty Suter came out to apply the pressure. And there's Danny Rooney, junior from Syosset. We've seen his ability to not only facilitate but also score this afternoon.
This entire St. Anthony's team has shown off some scoring ability, and that was really summarized with Brody Rickard. As you mentioned, can't typecast him as a D-midi. He shows up. Coach says they don't like to use him offensively. Well, he said, I'm taking this one. Everyone else is getting in on it. I want some too.
Yeah, Rickard, the 7th different Friar to find the back of the net. That shot by Ruddy. Stake makes the save.
The way St. Anthony's has played, Stake's going to have a monster quarter for Lawrenceville to come out on top. And he's going to need help, of course, from the attacking group.
Now Rawson hands off to Sturdivant. And Zerillo on him, the lefty. Trying to get something in the transition game as English came out, but a guy with his speed, Rickard, was step for step. So here's Sawyer English. Feed in front. Knocked away. Loose ball on the turf. Here comes Michael Kelton. Slings it ahead. And the Friars, you see Rooney on the opposite side of the field. 2 hands up. Hold the ball. Job well done by Kelton.
Textbook job, not only defensively, but then in transition, scoop that ball up.
Kelton among the walking wounded for St. Anthony's. Weiserick said he was a game-time decision last game, but good luck holding a guy out from playing your arch rival. And Kelton back in again today in against another national powerhouse. Harrigan, the feed to the crease that goes right through, chasing down the ball, Ronayne.
Certainly been unfortunate for the St. Anthony's team, that injury bug that's hit them, but testament to that next man up mentality and the ability and the depth of the program to not only be 7-4, but be competing in these games and playing at such a high level still.
Getting top side. What a goal by Harrigan! His 4th.
Dylan Harrigan's world. We're all living in it today. Unbelievable performance this afternoon in a game that his team needs.
Harrigan's like, you're going to short stick me? Really?
He took that mismatch. We've seen it a few times. St. Anthony's do it, and especially Harrigan. But when you get that short stick mismatch, they are not hesitating to go after it. And they get to a point where, in a good way, they're not even looking to pass. They're just looking for how can I create my shot and execute. And that's all we've seen today from St. Anthony's. The word of the day, execution.
4th, as we said, of the day, 18th of the year for the lefty Harrigan. Had a bad ankle injury, game number 2 of the year. Missed a couple of weeks. And now McHugh again. 2nd yard sale of the game. Hey, Saturday afternoons are usually right for yard sales, so McHugh's having one here.
Probably the only one in this weather.
Flag is down.
You almost just want to use this entire shot clock before the man advantage. Still have 50 seconds on it. And that's what they're doing right now, obviously. You don't want to get into anything until real late in this.
Here's Atkinson, the Bryant commit. The junior. It is a story seemingly as old as time here this year, but a guy also has been battling a ton of injuries this year. Here is Merrill. Atkinson called for the moving screen. And let's see what this penalty is against Lawrenceville. It'll be a 30-second man up for the Friars. Not many man-up opportunities for either side really today. St. Anthony's did capitalize, though, on one earlier in the first half.
And I think it's just been a clean played game here for the most part. I don't think the officials are really letting anything slide necessarily. It's just been very clean. And then you saw the moving screen there, which is a tough one for St. Anthony's to lose the rest of that clock. Looked like he just got set at the final moment, but too late to get away with it.
Through 3 quarters, Lawrenceville with a one-shot advantage, but the ground ball war plus 10 for St. Anthony's. Johnson the feed, low to low. Stake the save, Merrill the rebound, another one by Stake. Stake, well done.
Unbelievable work, and I'd said it a few minutes ago, it needs to be Stake who dominates this for Lawrenceville to get back in. He has to be a wall, and there's no better way to show that you are one besides that sequence that he just had. These two goalies have left you speechless a few times today.
Possession stays with St. Anthony's. That's Rooney. Rooney the feed, Merrill! He will not be denied there. Back post for Merrill, his third of the game.
Somebody leaves Gary Merrill alone there. Rooney identifies it, finds him, and Merrill, just a great job. You'll see it again. Being in position, being ready for it, and then finishing. Sometimes the toughest plays are the ones that should be so easy, but not for these guys.
And right there, you see there at the bottom of your screen, Merrill just separating from his defenders, sneaking in on the back stick. And Rooney, how about assist number 3 for him? A terrific look.
St. Anthony's has done a great job off the ball today, and that's not something that will get highlighted in the box scores or a lot of times even on the broadcast, but that leads to wins when your guys are in the right position. It's never felt like a one-man game at any point in time for St. Anthony's, and they have scored 12 here now, and so far holding Lawrenceville to 5 goals under their season average. Dominant team performance to this point with under 5.5 to play.
Yeah, St. Anthony's 2 goals more than their season average, which is 10, and they've given up 8.3 on the year. Harrigan, 4-1 for him on the day. Switches to his left, coming downhill. Ruddy!
Ruddy may have just put in the dagger with that one. Another really confident, aggressive take for St. Anthony's and a nice finish over the top.
Ruddy wants to eat too. His first goal of the game for the senior, bound for Michigan.
Guy that has an over 90-mile-an-hour shot in his arsenal. And he showed some power there. I'm not sure it hit 90, but
it was placement there. Mikey Riley, the clean face-off win. Riley! Excuse me, Lanigro that was. Low shot saved by Stake. So Lanigro looking for the Fogo goal. Stake makes his 12th save of the game. And now if you're Lawrenceville, this is not what you want to do. Another turnover. Inzerillo comes away with it.
Great job by Inzerillo scooping that up and advancing it. And now St. Anthony's totally in shot clock drain mode. You just want to use the clock. You're trying to kill time and secure a win after losing 3 straight.
Yeah, hands up on the sideline for St. Anthony's. And in a team like Lawrenceville, who 10-mans, you wonder how soon, given the time and score, does maybe Stake come out as an extra defender?
Well, it's definitely something that has to be considered ASAP. Now under 4 minutes, trail by 6.
An opportunity here for St. Anthony's. Mancaruso on the ball. He's found the back of the net. Here's Merrill. Merrill, good catch by Ronayne. Still 20 on the shot clock. Plenty of time for the Friars. Merrill again. Pick was set. Oh, my goodness. Rang that one off the bar. The ball right now entering the infield of the baseball diamond.
That one was a rift, and it had some serious carry off the cross. And St. Anthony's, because of it, gets another 60 on the clock. And you want to use up all of that. Take you down to almost 2 minutes, if they can.
And again, we'll keep an eye on Stake. As Harrigan uses the official for a screen. Plenty of time right now for the Friars. Harrigan, and now Stake does come out to challenge that pass to Rooney. Great job by Jet Stake.
At some point, it had to happen too, especially now you're under 3 minutes.
Well, that was one, Kevin, where he picked a spot. He kind of saw how the play was happening, and that's that lacrosse IQ that Stake brings, reading it so well. So now Lawrenceville, they've got to go into NASCAR mode here with 2:20 left.
And he timed it perfect on that. You can't leave too early, but you can't leave too late either. Timed it perfect, made a nice play, and you're right, NASCAR mode it is for Lawrenceville.
Sturdivant took a high shot, and a flag was thrown, so Lawrenceville will be man up for the next 30 seconds. It'll be a 30-second holds. And an absolute must-need right now if you are Lawrenceville on the man up.
And on the side of St. Anthony's, you feel good about where you are, obviously, up 6 with 2 minutes to play. But you want to keep it at 7 goals. Keep dominating this game till the final second of it. Don't let yourselves fizzle out, even if it still results in a win.
Sturdivant wide on that shot. Sturdivant, the pass as we approach 90 seconds. We are even. Sturdivant, again, stings it wide.
St. Anthony's not giving anything. Easy to take your foot off the gas a little bit, down 6, but important that you don't. Or up 6, I'm sorry. Important that you don't, though, and you finish, especially after losing the last 3. You want a feel-good game when you watch that tape all the way from the first face-off to that final horn.
That low shot wide of the mark. $1:15 left in this one. Sturdivant behind the back. Loose ball. Kelton in there battling. McHugh battling, and the shot clock violation for Lawrenceville.
I think you look at everything Keith Weiserick said about this matchup, spoke about last year's loss where they started slow in the first quarter. Well, immediately they checked that box today and came out getting after it, scoring the first 3 goals of this game, and the opportunity at hand to play a team the caliber of Lawrenceville after losing 3 straight. You don't want one of your easy games on the schedule. You want to try and capitalize against one of the best teams in the country, and that's exactly what they've done. Now the clock just kind of ticking down 35 seconds, the 13-7 lead, but this is an all-around feel-good day for St. Anthony's on a rainy spring Saturday. They've really flipped it.
Well, it speaks to the team mentality, right, and the intestinal fortitude of this group, right? Not only is it 3 straight, but then you lose to your arch rivals for the first time in 4 years here at home. And Lawrenceville comes in, right, with their resume, with their ranking, and St. Anthony's a collective team win this afternoon. A terrific one at that as they take this one 13-7. You look at all the different aspects, Kevin, of this game. Goalie play, Rappaport brought it. Defensively, every guy stepped up on that side of the ball, from the short stick D-middies to the long poles as well. You won the face-off X, which was a concern, and then a lot of different guys ate offensively, right? Harrigan led the way with 4, Merrill with 3, but multiple different goal scorers. And then also get guys scores, again, we mentioned, from guys that you're not used to getting goals from, a Gavin Johnston and Anthony Mancaruso. A real team win for the Friars today.
It felt like they dominated every level of the field throughout the entire time. They had that little blip in the third where I think Lawrenceville came out of half, high urgency, good game plan, good adjustments, but quickly St. Anthony shut it down. It got to a moment where it was a 2-goal game, and they never looked back after, ended up winning by 6. Perfect afternoon for St. Anthony's, all things considered.
Well, you go back to 2009, the last time St. Anthony's lost 4 games in a row. You have to go another year now because it ain't happening this year. The Friars made sure of it this afternoon. What a win for St. Anthony's. Well, they brought it numerous guys, right? Harrigan, you mentioned before. Lawrenceville, though, they were up for the fight. Jet Steak loved being back on Long Island, right? A little dancing in the rain for him. And Rappaport was huge in the cage. A battle of 2 great goalies. Gary Merrill also would not be denied. 3 for him on the day as St. Anthony's comes away with a huge win against Lawrenceville. For Ben Turchin, our executive producer, Chris Sweeney, our technical director, Ron Pierre and Kevin Catalanato, dodging all those raindrops to bring you those moving images. For Kevin Bunk, Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us from South Huntington. We look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.